Hello, friends. You're now listening to the lifestyle, leisure, and sports show you never knew was two of those things.
I think we can all acknowledge that if this fails, you two will be fired and I will remain. So, no pressure.
Bo Bishop, a regional media icon, winner of Emmys, purveyor of the good life.
Sir, you don't know that for a fact.
I just said it on the radio.
Also, two guys this company named Employee of the Month.
What are you talking about?
Paul Hogan is Hulk Hogan's brother. Look it up.
Because it's Hulk Hogan. That's his real name.
One guy is from Australia. The other one is from Tampa.
You mean he's from Hollywood, brother?
Not brothers. Chops.
Yes, they are.
This is Bishop and Friends.
And let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of the program. Bo and the boys with you for the next three. Uncle Dom coming up at 10:33. The Real Truth at 10 o'clock. 11:33 Porty on. So we lost Bob and Bill Zito. They were both here. What the hell, man? Ross Bjork with a very big job ahead of him over the coming months and years as well. So we'll get into that coming up at 11 o'clock as well. But I did want to start with the Stanley Cup in Game 7 last night. And as we were talking with Jody yesterday, and at one point I asked him about, what that road is like as a player to get to a Game 7 of a Stanley Cup final. And you think about that the Edmonton Oilers started playing this thing on April 22nd. That's when it started. It's a 2-month quest for the Cup. It's a 2-month siege for the Cup. It's every other day. You're playing. If you go to 7 games like they did, and as we were thinking about that, and as I was watching the game last night, I could not help but wonder what it would be like if it ever happened here. And we don't have a point of reference on that. We have one series win in a quarter century of hockey, and it was magical, but it was over really quickly. It was over very quickly. And because the win over Tampa Bay was a sweep, you really didn't even get the chance to extend that and feel all that comes with that. It was all over so quickly. And I remember Threes and I coming on after they won a game in Boston. And we said they can win the Cup. Like, they're good enough. They've got the goaltending, they've got the firepower, they've got the beef, they got everything you need to go win the Cup. It didn't go that way. Boston took care of them from that point on, but there was a sense of hope and joy that came with that. And as I'm watching this thing last night, and I'm watching it unfold, and I'm seeing the faces of the kids in the families and the adults and the crazy fan base that obviously represents Edmonton, and one that's obviously been cultivated in South Florida. We give them a lot of hell, but obviously there are diehard hockey fans in that part of the country as well, and that have grabbed on to what the Florida Panthers have become. I mean, that was a franchise that was almost gone. It was almost like, are we sure that we need to keep playing hockey down here? And they've resurrected it, and they've gotten it going, and winning a cup certainly helps. And we've seen a lot of these newer-ish, and Florida obviously isn't a new franchise, but we've seen these franchises. We had Vegas, we've had Colorado move from Quebec, so we've had these teams recently that have won. And you think about, well, why not us? And what would it be like around here if that ever happened? And we have no point of reference because there's nothing quite like it. I think probably the closest thing you could have to it was when the Buckeye basketball team, and I missed the 07 run, but was here in 12 when they got all the way to the Final Four. And I talk about it all the time, and we have Dom on, and he and I will lament the idea of covering that, how you would go week to week and you'd go to a different town, and the joy that would come with that, and the momentum that would happen in the city by covering a team making a run towards a championship. On the professional level, we have no point of reference on this. The best we can do is kind of grab on and take a little part of like what the Cavs did and enjoy those runs, but nothing quite like in our own backyard.
Nothing where you're going to go to the parade.
No,
yeah.
Nothing where you're. I mean, the Crew, they've won the 2 cups, and that's been awesome. The one was in COVID, so that one felt a little bit differently. The one last year, I think the other thing that's tough for MLS is they win the cup. And I know like the soccer people are going to come at me hard for this, but their cup is awarded in the middle of football season, and it's something that we have so much attention being pulled in other directions with the NFL and college football that it happens, and you love it and you're appreciative of it. And my God, that stadium, all of it, it's sensational. But in the traditional Big Four, we don't have a point of reference on that. We don't have a point of reference on a slow build. Think about that. A 2-month postseason. If you're in on it from Jump Street, you're talking 3rd week of April to 3rd week of June. Like, can you imagine what this place would be like? in an Eastern Conference final? Can you imagine what it would be like in a Stanley Cup final if that's all anybody was talking about and doing? And rest assured they would be, because guess what? There's nothing else going on. There's nothing happening. It would monopolize this town. You talk to the guys who have been here a long time. You talk about the people in the front office who have been here a long time, and they're trying like heck to get that done, and it hasn't worked even a little bit to get near that. And they're not alone. It's been tough for Minnesota, for example, to break through and get there. And that they're a recent expansion team, as recent as in the last 25 years or so. So it's a very tough thing. I'm not going to pretend that it's not. But I did watch last night with the idea of, my God, what would it be like? And Reese, you're a Columbus native. You've been here from the beginning with the Blue Jackets. And you think about the novelty probably that the Jackets were at the beginning, but now you've sit here now most of your life, and we don't know what that's going to, we don't even know. We have no point of reference on what a run like that would be like here.
Yeah, there's no real way to imagine what that would feel like, because it's never been close enough to have that kind of dream. I think you and James are wonderful, but what the hell were you smoking after sweeping Tampa? It's like, that was great, but the fact that you guys would come on after a win over Boston in the next round and say, hey, they could win the cup, was like, did Mother Ayahuasca come visit you at any point? Like, I know there was a lot of momentum coming off that sweep of Tampa, but boy, it feels like you got to get to an Eastern Conference final before you can start thinking to yourself, what would this town be like if the Jackets ever hoisted the cup? Because
we said it because we were ravenous. You were ravenous for it, and you got swept up in it, and you thought, my God, it's possible. That's it. That's what it was. You were so swept up, and because you had the guy who was in net last night where they won the cup, and because you had Panarin, and because you had Josh Anderson and PLD, and you had like Seth Jones back there. Like, you had like a group that felt like this kind of looks like what the teams that win the cup look like. It would have been a fairy tale to go from the 8 seed to do it, but hell, it's happened in that sport. There's been 8 seeds that have gone and played for the cup. And you were just so caught up in it. I guess that's maybe the point of it, is we've only had that little glimmer of a tiny bit of time where we could say, you probably had that day. And I want to say, was it game 2 they won in Boston?
Yeah, so then they came back
and
here,
that was the one.
And we thought we had a shot. And game 2, I think it was game 2, was the one that I watched as like the watch party in Nationwide Arena. I was caught up in it and was like, oh, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford tickets to the actual playoff game here in Columbus, but I can go and watch on the Jumbotron. So that was a lot of fun, and people were definitely into it. It wasn't it wasn't sold out or anything in there, but there were a lot of people there ready to watch the Jackets in a road playoff game. I went to a playoff game in the 2017 season against, I believe, the Penguins. They didn't fare too well, but you can tell when you're out there that you go to so many games that there is a general feel to it of people at our bar and people over there on Park Street and how they make their march down and everybody goes. But the playoffs did have a different vibe to it. And the other cool thing about it is it's warm out. So like people are more out on those concourses and more out on the patios for the bars. And then you go into the arena. But that's like the real like sleeping giant of this city. If the Blue Jackets are able to go on a deep playoff run, that the arena district has been built up so well and has so much around it that it would just be on fire if we had a 2-month run in the playoffs, culminating in at least playing for the Stanley Cup. Obviously winning it then puts you onto a whole different thing, but that's what's so great about where the arena is and what's set up for it, is that if the Blue Jackets do hit that run, that place is ready to just pop.
We were up 2-1 in that series in 19. We won game 2 in Boston in double overtime, and then we won game 3 here 2-1. We're up 2-1.
So that's when it felt real.
That's when it felt like. It was like, holy hell, we're up 2-1 on the Bruins. We now have home ice advantage.
Boston went on to the Cup that year as well.
Yeah, they did. And then they won 4-1 here in a game 4, and then game 5 was 4-3 over there, and then it was closed out 3-0 here in a game 6. So that's the way it went. But we just have such a small window into what it could be like. And there is something so cool for your city. And I think it's obviously when Ohio State goes on those type of runs, and I think you could have it next year with a 12-team playoff. I don't know what that's going to look like when you think about playing games around the holidays every 10 days or however it's going to break down. I mean, every time I look at that calendar, I think about, my God, what's that? Who's going to be at those games? Who can travel to all those places and try to go to those games and make all of that work? But the one thing with Ohio State is that I do feel like we share it with the state. We share it with the Buckeye Nation. Obviously, it burns hottest here, but it's everywhere. When Ohio State wins, the whole state grabs a hold of it. This would be something, and the crew have done this twice recently, and they've done it 3 times total. But the notion of something just for this town, and there is just something that I can't even wrap my head around what it would be like if you had a 2-month march towards Lord Stanley, and they got it last night in Florida. Bob got it done. It was great. It had all the theater that you would want, and there's a lot to break down with it, and we will. The heartbreak for McDavid and the Oilers, it felt like it was about 50-50 down there, but maybe it was closer to 40-60 Oilers versus Panthers fans. There was a lot of Oilers fans in there.
They were able to sing the "O Canada," although Alanis Morissette did not put down the mic and let them go like they do in Edmonton.
Yeah, I think that she could have. I think that she had bad headset. I think her headset was off. So you guys ever deal with like mix minus? Like we deal with it in television all the time.
It happens here, and if you get your voice back in your ear, it can really mess you up.
So that happens all the time in TV. That would happen to me all the time, where you would get like somebody wouldn't hit it, and then you would basically get an echo of yourself,
and it makes you start to like almost slur your words. It's really weird.
It's awful. It's really tough. So I think that her earpieces were off, and so she got behind, and I think at one point didn't she take it out? And she was smiling because she could tell she was behind. The crowd was ahead of her on O Canada.
Oh, isn't it ironic?
Yeah, I was thinking that as well. Yeah, but I thought she crushed. It's just that I think her earpiece got a little bit messed up. By the way, on the national anthem, I'm all for that. Let's scream it, baby. Like, let's go. We can take that from them. We can just say, hey, that's cool. Can we do that too? I know they did it in Chicago. They had a legendary guy named Jim Cornelius who used to do it at Bears games and Blackhawks games, I think. Fish would know for sure. But they would scream it at Bears games. When the Bears were good, like in the mid-2000s, they would scream along with him. I'm for that. I think that's awesome, the way that they
it gives you chills when you hear a whole arena singing something. Really anything, but then the national anthem on top of it, it just hits a chord.
All right. Bob cemented a legacy. The last 5 minutes was a remarkable thing from the best player on the planet. It was crazy. We'll get to all of that, and we also have draft season coming up as well. But coming up next, Sergei Bobrovsky. You'll hear from him. Made his bones here, cemented his legacy in South Florida. It's coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
This promo is brought to you by Common Man and Timmy Hall's Ping Pong Game. The Fan.
You expect your home to protect everything you love, but you don't expect the ways water is breaking down your basement and damaging your home. Mold, cracks, and of course visible water are just a few signs your basement is compromised. But there's one way to get answers to all your concerns. A free home inspection from Ohio Basement Authority. We put water back in its place. Get your free inspection at ohiobasementauthority.com.
The Columbus Men's Clinic opened in 2014 for guys who get it done. Let's talk, fellas. You solve problems all day at work. You fix your sink when it's broken. But when it comes to ED and low T, it doesn't get done. We get it. You hate going to the doctor, but you're the guy that fixes things. At the Columbus Men's Clinic, there's nothing to fear and no reason to delay. We've been destroying bedroom boredom for a decade. So if you haven't fixed this, call us. When the pills fail, call us. If you feel like you've tried everything, call us. Here, there's hope. From the conventional to the next level. You'll be seen by our friendly, discreet physician who will take the time to listen. Imagine finally taking care of this with no surgery. Imagine going from feeling gray to living life in vibrant color. It's time to be confident. Join the thousands of guys who have found success after walking through our doors. Will you be one of them? Dial 614-300-7400 or go to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to schedule a $99 male performance consultation, including blood work. Do it for you. Do it for her. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com. Book your appointment now.
It's time that we face the facts when it comes to organ, eye, and tissue donation. It exists to save and heal lives. It's a way to look out for one another, to continue a legacy and give the gift of a fuller future, the gift of life.
But what about the barriers around organ donation?
Cost, age, religion, race, or health status are not factors that can get in the way. All it really takes is one epic yes. Register today to become an organ, eye, and tissue donor at donatelifeohio.org.
Do you subscribe to the Fans YouTube channel? Well, why not? Catch our best interview, Stupid Man and Bone videos, and live video of our shows as they happen.
You can participate in your neighborhood watch.
Search 971 The Fan and subscribe today.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great, come on in, we'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh yeah, we send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment. The probability is that I am one of them.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observed that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Stop in today for Savor the Summer Savings.
Every year, Adult Protective Services receives thousands of reports of elder abuse, exploitation, and neglect in Ohio. When a report is received, Adult Protective Services can check in and provide help if needed. If someone you know is showing signs of elder maltreatment, don't hesitate to call 855-OHIO-APS. Let's work together to help every Ohioan age safely.
Did you know 38% of Ohio's teenagers have spent money on gambling in video and online games? Items like mystery boxes, skins, and spin to win mimic gambling, putting children at a higher risk of experiencing a gambling disorder as an adult. So get in the know about youth gambling and start the conversation with discussion guides, parent resources, and more at changethegameohio.org. That's changethegameohio.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Look for partly cloudy skies with a few afternoon showers, high 89. Some much needed rainfall is on the way through your Wednesday. It'll be dry Wednesday morning. Wednesday afternoon, look for some heavy showers, high 84. Rainfall amounts will be about a ½ inch to an inch. Thursday and Friday will be drier and cooler. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your Doppler 10 forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
With friends like these, who needs former college football players? This is Bishop and Friends.
Hey there, friends. It's your Uncle Bo here. Proud to tell you about my friends at Diamond Cellar. Whether you're popping the question or ready to say I do, there's only one true jeweler to shop for your one true love. At True Jewelers, Diamond Cellar not only has designer luxury collections to suit your bridal needs, but they also have talented in-house designers who can create something truly one of a kind for you. For more than 75 years, their expert staff has been caring for couples just like you and provide the absolute lowest prices guaranteed. Diamond Cellar. Check them out, Sawmill Road, Easton Town Center, or diamondcellar.com. I'll tell you what else that they can do. I had my father-in-law was on a golf trip. This was, I don't know, probably about 10 years ago. He was on a golf trip, and he had a watch that he had for 30 years that he got when he had graduated college, and it was one that meant a great deal to him. And he had it stolen out of his golf bag. And it was a very specific watch, one that they don't make anymore. And I went to Diamond Cellar, and I said, this is what I'm looking for. And within a month, they found one and made it happen. So they can do that stuff, too. They can do anything you need on that side of things. They're the best. Truly are. All right. Where were we on Bob? I found myself rooting for Edmonton almost the entire time until it became pretty painfully clear that they just were not getting enough quality chances in the last 5-6 minutes. McDavid did not come off the ice. He did not come off the ice. McDonough was unbelievable on the call, by the way, and he pointed it out, like they don't have legs anymore. Like it was just that line. I mean, they had all of those guys out there for the last 4 or 5 minutes, and you could tell they just did not have the legs for it anymore to give a serious push at it. And they kept trying to go, all of this action towards the center of the ice, which kind of fed right into Florida's kind of plan a little bit, and they didn't put enough pucks on net. And when you don't do that, that's what's going to happen. But once it went final, I did find myself saying, well, good on you, Bob. Like, you're going to the Hall. You'll be in Toronto. You're going to go to the Hall of Fame. You're a 2-time Vezina. Now you're a Stanley Cup champion. You were incredible in a Game 7. And I did feel good for Bob in that moment, because he's the best player to ever play here, period. I mean, 2 Vezinas, full stop. That's it. And you watch him there, and obviously you wish it was here, but at the same time, like, I did find myself being very happy for him with how it ended up.
It made me feel a little bit old, too, because I was reading some of the comments from some of his, might have been Tkachuk, but it might have been a different teammate of Bobrovsky, but just talking about, like, oh, it's so great to get him a win. He's been here for a long time. He's the best player on the team. And I was like, he's been there for a long time. I remember when Bob was here. So, yeah, that made me feel old a bit. But I felt good for Bob. I was sort of rooting for Florida just because I kind of picked them yesterday a little bit, saying that, like, hey, that track was running. So when they went up 1-0, I was like, all right, good start. And then I got worried for Bobrovsky there right after that, because then Edmonton goes right back down and scores and gets it back to 1-1. And I was like, oh, no, is it going to be one of those nights for Bob that we've seen in this series? He's had a shutout in Game 1. He's also had taken off the ice in the second period of a game. So he's gone through that, but he was able to be a stalwart for the rest of the game and keep everything out. And for Connor McDavid, and you're talking about, like, oh, they don't have the legs under them. I mean, it's not just the 2-month track that definitely, like, they're tired from here, but then you add on top of it, it's a Game 7 and they're playing all out, kind of taking that, like, basketball mentality of our best players are going to be out there. But part of Connor McDavid's specialness is that ability to just jump and go and boom down the ice. And if he loses that, he's not going to be the same amount of effective player, and they just are not able to get another goal into the net, and Florida's able to hold on.
I'm so excited to do this Sports Talk Radio segment. Connor McDavid, sore loser for not being on the ice to accept the Conn Smythe. 821-9710.
We don't do that anymore.
We're not taking your calls.
They booed him, right?
They booed it when it was announced. But I think I was thinking about that, because there was scuttlebutt online about how Bob should have won the Conn Smythe. But I disagree with that one.
Yeah, I tend to be with you on that. I think McDavid was, over the course of it's the Stanley Cup, it's the whole playoff, and then the Stanley Cup final. So yeah, I'm with you on that side of it. By the way, that first goal was scored by Carter Verhaeghe. If that seemed like, hey, that's interesting, that's because yesterday on Shelley Time, Jody said this.
Carter Verhaeghe has made a career out of being a big game player, a big moment player, and he's had a really quiet series for the Florida Panthers. It'll be interesting to see what he gets going here tonight, because he's had overtime game winners in past playoffs. He's won a cup with Tampa. He's brought the Florida Panthers to this point last year, and now this year. He's one of those guys that has had a quiet series here in this one. I'm going to look to him for the Panthers.
It's a good call, Jody. I texted Jode last night. I said, I believe you had that. Like it. He's like, big time players in big time games, and he did. He called it by name. He scored the first goal. You're right. Edmonton answered right away, and then it settled down. It was breakneck for the first 10 minutes.
It was
both
like teams were taking any opportunity they had.
I told a buddy of mine, I'm like, this feels like it's 4-on-4. There were so many shots on net, so many rushes. It was thrilling stuff. It was as good as hockey. Hockey got the night to themselves, right? I know that there was a College World Series clincher last night, but there was no NBA, hasn't been for a while. So they kind of had this stage. They were on the big network, which still matters, as we talk about a lot. They were on ABC, and they delivered a monster night. And Bob's at the center of it. Let's hear from Bob on winning his first Stanley Cup.
I'm really happy. I want to thank God for this opportunity, for this experience. I'm nothing without him. I want to dedicate this win for him. And yeah, I'm just blessed.
Here's Bob on the journey. It has been a long one.
Like, they got to 3-3, 3 losses in a row. But we were thinking that like we have to overcome that to become a true champion. We have to overcome the adversity and everything that opponent or enemy throw at us, to become the really true champion. Just one moment at a time. That's it. It was an unbelievable energy. The fans give us the fuel. So it was so quick. The intensity, the emotions. It was tight, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and it was. And for McDavid and the Oilers, there's the other side of it. Like, it's 93 since a Canadian team has won it. A bunch of Canadians have won it, obviously. Like, that's one thing that I think gets lost. Like, when they do the Yo Canada song, there's a ton of Canadians that play for Florida, obviously. Like, Luongo is beating the drum. And I'm like, wait, that guy was in net when they won the gold in Vancouver for Canada. So, like, I'm sure that there is some mixed emotion with all of that. But this was mostly an opportunity for McDavid, right? Because this would have cemented. You want to talk about, there were people I saw yesterday said, oh, he's better than Gretzky now if he pulls this off. Like, let's slow that down a little bit. But there's no question he's reached a higher echelon. And had he won last night, it would have been absolutely about him. Here is McDavid after the loss.
You knew it was going to be a real tight game, and it was going to come down to one thing here and there. And, we're an inch away from going ahead 2-1 right before they go ahead 2-1. And, it's tough. They do a good job of shutting things down, and we had our looks. Just didn't find it.
It doesn't make me think less of Connor McDavid, but you can tell that he didn't want to go out and get the trophy, and he had a comment after the game that was just but it was just like that's not what we really wanted to win. I guess that's great. I just hope the 0-0-0 line over the last two games isn't something that like haunts him, and like he can't get back to this moment, because Connor McDavid is somebody that I would really like to see hoist the cup someday.
I think boy, it's tough, with so much emotional energy after you go down 0-3 and then you're 3 straight, and to try, to will a team to a Game 7 win. It'll take obviously another Herculean effort from him if the Oilers want to reach back to this spot, because, again, for the Panthers, like, this is their second cup appearance in the past 2 years. Like, they've built kind of a juggernaut there.
Yeah. There's organizational depth is the thing that really comes through when you watch this, that you have to have, and Florida has that. They're an incredibly deep, talented team, and when you're paying a couple of guys a lot, it's really hard to pull it off. I mean, if you remember with the Pens, like Crosby and Malkin took less to order to kind of try to make it all work. I mean, never forget that with Crosby. He took less money to do it. And that's kind of, if you take all of it, there's a cap and there's a pie. As Mike Brown will tell you, there's a pie. And if you take a big part of it, it's hard to fill out everything else. Yeah, you don't know if you get another bite at the apple in Edmonton. Who knows? I mean, they look to me like they're built to be good for a long time, but to go all the way to a Game 7 and lose. By the way, like, they do a handshake line, and then he stood there and fist bumped every single player on the Oilers as they went back into the dressing room. Like, he was not petulant. This was not LeBron throwing a jersey into the stands.
Also,
like,
did he know
there,
he was about to win that trophy, or did
and I don't blame him. Like, who would want it? Like, who would want it? And by the way, good on the hockey writers for getting that one right, the way that they should have got it right for LeBron on a couple of those times in losing efforts against Golden State, where he was clearly the most outstanding player in the playoffs. Clearly was. Like, they got that one right. They deserve some credit for that one. But I don't have any problem with him being like, yeah, I'm not going out there for that. Forget that. I'm not doing that. So I don't have a problem with that side of it either. And now we build both NHL, NBA, MLB. The drafts are coming fast and furious. Here's the thing about all of them. Nobody knows anything. We'll explain coming up next. Bishop and Friends right here on The Fan.
Bobby Carpenter doesn't have a mullet, but he's knee-deep in mullet energy. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekdays starting at 6.
The Fan.
Are you feeling unsure about your current heating and cooling system? With Custom Air's Comfort Consultants, you can get a thorough assessment of your current HVAC equipment and explore future options for replacements, ensuring you make the right choice for your home sweet home. Take control of your comfort and peace of mind today. Go to customairco.com or call us at 614-552-HVAC to schedule your complimentary consultation with one of our experts. Custom Solutions, Custom Comfort, Custom Air.
Attention, boating enthusiasts. Bennington Factory demonstration models are at Buckeye Lake Marina. These exclusive demo units are loaded with the features built to dazzle at shows and exhibits. And guess what? They're all brand new with a full warranty. Some have never even touched the water. Hold on to your mooring ropes because we're offering dock-shaking discounts up to $40,000 only at Buckeye Lake Marina. These deals are hotter than the summer sun and won't last long. Visit Buckeye Lake Marina and make your dream boat a reality today. BuckeyeLakeMarina.com, where your adventure begins.
O'Reilly. Protect your vehicle's engine with Syntec and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Syntec Full Synthetic Motor Oil is formulated for today's engines to protect against wear and deposits. Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select filter for just $33.99 in-store only. Limit supply. Learn more at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Listen up, gamers. Mountain Dew has always been your go-to for a refreshing citrus kick. Now it's also your go-to for gaming rewards. With Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards, you just look for codes under the caps of specially marked 20-ounce bottles of Mountain Dew. Enter those codes online to bank points, and then redeem them for awesome gaming gear. Everything from gift cards, game copies, controllers, consoles, custom Mountain Dew gaming gear, and more. Join Mountain Dew Gaming Rewards now.
Open to legal U.S. residents 18+. Subject to program terms at mountaindewgaming.com and 2525. Voter prohibited.
Join all your hockey friends with a Blue Jackets draft special.
Friday, June 28th at 7 p.m.
What will the Jackets do with the 4th pick? How much money will Jody Shelley lose in Vegas? All the important questions will be answered. The Fan.
Common Man here for Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. If you listen to my show every day, congratulations, you're getting the best. Now I want you to drive the best, but unlike the lie I told before, Jermaine Lexus really is the best. I just picked up my brand new RX 350 a few weeks ago. It is fabulous. They want to make you a customer for life. Right now, rates are as low as 1.9%. Lease payments are as low as $489 a month, and the Memorial Courtesy vehicles are now on the lot. Jermaine Lexus of Dublin and Easton. Check him out online, JermaineLexus.com. Tell him Common Man sent you.
I'm Leslie from Pella Columbus.
And I'm Wilson from the other window place.
So, Wilson, you're running a window deal.
Yep. Buy one window, get 2 free. Or 5 or 10. It's all the same.
Oh.
Well, it's not real, but it sounds good to the buyer, so...
That does not sound good.
Oh, it is not. What's your deal?
So we have 5 different window lines so that all budgets can afford Pella without an unreal deal.
Lame.
Get the window that Columbus homeowners rate the most trusted at PellaColumbus.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
Bishop and Friends is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Fast, sustainable weight loss without medications. The solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
All right, here's what's up on a Tuesday edition of the program. And now we wait. The Big Four, all at a break. MLB, obviously, still going on right now, but you've got the draft coming up in the middle of July on that side of things. The other 3 are all dormant for the moment. We are drafting in the NBA. That starts tomorrow and Thursday, in the NHL on Friday, and then again on Saturday. Jackets picking 4th overall on that side of things. I was reading, and Reese, maybe you can clear this up for me. I was reading on the Guardians and Reds go 1-2, as we discussed, I think, earlier this week. There is a consensus third baseman for Georgia who's like the best guy, but the Guardians are thinking about not going that way because they're worried about a bonus pay. Is that real? Is that Is that where we're at on that? I don't understand it at all. There's like a slot they have to pay, like $10 million, but then he's like has bonus demands that could make them go in another direction. And I was looking at a mock draft from this morning, and it had him taking a shortstop from West Virginia instead of the kid who won Player of the Year at Georgia playing third base.
Yeah, it's tough for me to even understand it, but yes, it's like there's a certain valuation that these guys have.
Right.
And the Guardians, if they're looking at, I want to say it's Charlie Colton.
Condon, I think is his name.
Thank you.
Yeah, the kid at Georgia. He's the third
Georgia,
baseman.
who's got like the most home runs in college baseball this season. And so I think that would dissuade them from it. There's an outfielder out of Oregon State. I think it's Travis Bazana. I'd call him Travis Banana. I want them to take him because the last time they took a outfielder or they took a player from Oregon State, he did pretty well.
Yeah.
And Stephen Kwan. So it's hard to tell with a lot of these guys, and there's no Paul Skeens in this draft. Mm-hmm. So I think the pitcher from Wake Forest,